and I have my current students right now sharing the same stage, so this is like Christmas for me.
He said I was free, but he lied. I had to work and provide for his family up until the minute that I died. 1855, I was just 13, already had a bid on me. I was about to get auctioned off to a cruel man, to then I knew I would never be free. So I begged and pleaded on both knees for someone else to please take me. I got auctioned off to a kindly looking man, but that was where my life barely began, raising generation after generation without having any preparation.
Free yourself is what I wish I could have told her. Not just physically, but mentally, that man had you deferred. Your own thoughts were confined. True freedom is something you can't find. The version of him in your head was never true. I'm sorry that you never had the chance to have your breakthrough. You were frightened, empty, and alone, so you thought you needed him. You never took the time to see what you could accomplish on your own. Freedom is something you can't barter. Thinking that you can will only make you work harder.
I don't get why our skin color defines us. I don't get why the way our hair looks defines the way we are. The way we talk, the way we walk, the way we write, the way we drink, the way we type, the way we write. But then we all look the same, act the same, talk the same, walk the same. In reality, we're totally different from each other.
Tough enough and strong enough to hold back 2 mules. That big black hand knocked a mule down to his knees. Strong enough to hold and guide a plow into the pack-resistant Louisiana soil. Tougher than the leather that held the bits in them 2 mules' mouths. Too tough to caress mama's soft skin. Strong enough to hoist a big old tree on the back of a pulpwood truck. Those were my father's hands.
We were consumed with confusion. We gazed upon them like foreign objects. I'm sure someone thought they were amusing, but for us it had a different effect. "Mommy," she said, "why does that doll look like that? Why is she so black? Is that supposed to be a representation of me? Then why is that one so pretty and white?"
She saw that we'd become distorted. Maybe she read it somewhere. Either way, that made it okay for her to weep. Not knowing who she is or where her family is could easily lead to her kissing cousins or providing blood crip cousins the kiss of death. Guncock. Do. Shoot. You see, her roots are our roots, and they too have been shortened by seas that have seen us sweep enslavement below decks and create a new demise that we dismiss. And despite millions fighting for our rights in the past, we as a people still remain uncivil, and in current day, we be dissolving just like some of them wanted us to.
Bombazine, a twill fabric of a silk or rayon warp in worsted filling, oft dyed black for mourning wear, that of which a lawyer's gown is made. On the top deck overflow naked bodies, possessionless. Freedom is a captive suit worn casual, begrudgingly bestowed. Bodies huddled on the deck, bodies muddled on the brink of falling down the gutters, dressed, chained, and dragged to the whims of decrees and arguments. A man wants to know why 4,000 citizens a day will pay 12 cents each to catch a glimpse of Africans in the blessed cage, more than will line up his Sioux on a warm summer day. Delegations form about the exotic horde, instruments fall out of bags, slips of theories burst from lips, hands cup crowns and lay on prayers, from the ivy walls palms measure domes.
All because my roots were thick. like thighs and hips, attached to bodies, attached to ships on the Middle Passage. And in passing, I failed to see that wanting to deny the slave in my genes turned me into a slave to wigs, weaves, and flat ironing. You know, heat damaging my self-esteem because, no lie, I couldn't wait to apply no lye or sodium hydroxide, and I could not wait to put on some of that ammonium thioglycolate in hopes that my hair would wave like amber grain, but more times than not it would just hang like the fruit from southern trees. Strange how my skin tone is proof of my foremothers' rapes, yet the only thing that I cared about was how my color didn't match my nape, and I couldn't quite articulate how much I was eating off of Jim Crow's plate with my self-hate, all because my hair wasn't straight and my roots were hard to penetrate.
My painting, this painting that I have created here is called After the Smoke Clears. And this painting, the concept of this painting came to me after I did some research about lynchings, and the story that I came upon was the story of Mary Turner. I'm not sure if anybody is familiar with the story of Mary Turner, but Mary Turner lived in Georgia. In 1918, there was a murder of a white farmer in the town that Mary Turner lived. And this particular farmer was known for his predatory practices against African Americans. He would go and bail black people out of jail, and he would make them work on his farm to pay off the debt that they owed from him bailing them out of jail. Well, there were some people who were not really okay with what it was he was doing because they were doing more work than what they actually owed. So they had a grievance with this particular farmer. And there was one day this farmer was killed. He came up dead. And there were several people in this town who were not responsible for the murder of this farmer, but they were killed because the farmer was killed and they were known to have a grievance with this farmer. One of the people that was killed was Mary Turner's husband. Mary Turner's husband's name was Hayes, and Hayes was lynched by a mob of men on May 18th of 1918. At the time, Mary Turner was 8 months pregnant, and Mary Turner, rightfully so, was outraged at the fact that her husband had been lynched for something that he had absolutely nothing to do with. So there was a crowd of people who had gathered at Mary Turner's home on the 19th. On May 19th, there was a crowd of people who was gathered at the home of Mary Turner, and Mary Turner was obviously upset. She was voicing the fact that she was upset, and because there were people at her home, a lynch mob got word that there were people gathering at Mary Turner's home, and they went there. When they got to Mary Turner's home, she expressed how unsatisfied she was, to say the least. There were hundreds, if not thousands, of people who actually witnessed this. There were people who felt like they could do nothing. There were people cheering it on. And in this painting, there are, of course, children in this painting. We all know that when there were lynchings, there were people who actually came to participate, and they brought their children to participate in the lynchings. I'm just thinking about what happened after the smoke cleared, after everyone was gone, and after the crowd cleared. What actually happened to the children who were there witnessing what happened to Mary Turner and her baby? So in this particular painting, in my head, just like Hattie possibly was, Mary Turner could have been someone who took care of white children. She could have been someone who was responsible for making sure that they were safe and fed and nurtured and felt loved. But there was a day that these children walked up on Mary Turner while she was lynched. Mary Turner also was a mother. And there are 2 black children in this painting, and those black children are dressed up and they are in mourning because Mary Turner meant something to them, right? So in my head, my thought is, honestly, what is the story? What is the story that these children are being told to make it easier for them to sleep at night? Because we know that these stories are not always recorded accurately, and they are not recorded accurately because the people who write the stories are choosing to omit certain things from these stories. So what was the story that these white children were told in order for their nightmares to be at ease?
On behalf of Westport Historical Society, thank you for coming out. This is the first time we've had a chance to do something like this, and I want to do more things, and I think not just as Westport but as a person, I am blessed today because I got to hear voices we don't get to hear on this porch. I got to hear things and people speak from a level I don't usually get to hear, and I'm blessed. You guys have blessed me today, and thank you, because hey, this is totally my pleasure today. Thank you for enduring what turned out to be quite a warm day, and a lot more sun than they were planning on us having, but I'm okay with it because it's not raining, right? Yeah. Westport is growing, and we're changing, and we're doing great things, and today kind of starts a lot of that. If anybody has an interest in Westport history, come back and see us. Come back, take a tour of the museum, learn about opportunities to maybe volunteer with us. Give us a new voice. Help us grow those voices. This is what we need in this world, is we need to grow with voices that represent the communities we're in. And the community we're in is represented by everyone sitting around us today. So thank you. I have no more words than that. Thank you for coming. I'm going to turn it over to Terrence now. Thank you all for coming. Thank you for this.
Thank you all for coming. It is hot out here, so we're going to end this early. After every event, I always end it with Psalms 133. So that's what I'm going to do right now. Behold, how good and how pleasant it is for brethren and sisters to dwell together in unity. It is like the precious ointment upon the head that went down the beard, even Aaron's beard that went down the skirts of his garment, as the dew of Hermon, and as the dew that descended upon the mountains of Zion. It was there where the Lord commanded his blessings and life evermore.